Welcome back once again to another episode of the All Things God podcast. And I'm your host, Tisha, if you haven't known yet. But today we have something special lined up because we're joined by not one person, but two amazing people by the name of Joy and Henry. This power couple recently launched an organization called Fleet, which is a movement created to bring people together in fellowship, worship, and service to God. Their first Fleet night in July was a huge success, and the next one is already coming up on Tuesday, September 30th. So now that you know, I expect to see you in the building, especially if you're in Atlanta, Georgia. In this episode, we'll dive into their journey, how God placed His vision on their hearts, what it was like to bring Fleet to life, and how they are inspiring others to gather and serve Him in unity. Just know you don't want to miss this episode because this conversation is filled with faith, purpose, and community. So join me in welcoming Joy and Henry to the All Things God podcast. Hi, you guys.
Hello. Hey.
So, I just want to say congratulations on your first Fleet night. It was such a success. I enjoyed every bit of it, and I'm glad you guys are continuing this thing.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very encouraging thing to hear as we go into our next one.
Yes, and the next one is in 2 weeks actually, and I'm gonna be there. I already got the day approved to be on.
Oh, awesome. Love it.
That's great.
So we're gonna go ahead and jump into these questions. I like to say that my viewers love to be in everybody that I bring on business, and just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But so can you guys share how God placed the vision of Fleet on your hearts?
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of factors. Starting out, just Joy and I both work in creative industries. She works in live music. I work in video production. So kind of the open mic format spoke to both of us just because it combines a lot of different talents and really brings a lot of those creative aspects together. So that's kind of why the format was put on our hearts, but we've also just experienced a lot of friction when it comes to trying to use your gifts for the kingdom, in traditional church settings or just out and about in professional daily life. Especially in the live music industry, in a lot of spaces, talking about Jesus is not, that's not appreciated, right? And then it's similar in video, not quite as extreme necessarily, but, so we kind of recognize a few of those factors. So we really just kind of felt like is important to create a space where people can use their creative talents, whether it's actually performing or more behind the scenes, in a way that advances the kingdom, and they can gain experience and just, dedicate that skill set.
I also feel like kind of beyond that of using gifts that you already know you have and those creative abilities, I think for me, even though I kind of did creative things, I didn't really recognize it as a gift, and I have other friends who didn't know that they could do this, that, or the other thing. So it was a lot of this is a chance for you to get up there and just try it out. This could be your first time holding a camera, but you're just kind of fascinated by taking pictures. So we're going to help you learn how to use it. We're going to get you out there and you're going to be taking pictures during that first event to see if that is potentially a gifting that God has given you. And if it's not, then, next Fleet night, you could get up there and do spoken word, or you could run sound or do whatever else it is. So it's even if you don't know for sure, this is the gift I have, we really liked the idea of giving people an opportunity to just explore and find out.
I like that. I like that you guys are opening it up for people to explore, because a lot of times, they don't do that around here. It's they want you to already have the experience. They want you to already know something about a camera. But the fact that you guys are allowing God to use you and give others that opportunity to use your gift, to use their gift, is very, very amazing. And I really appreciate that from you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next question is like, what does the name Fleet represent, and why did you guys choose that name?
So, I guess I can answer this.
Yeah.
Fleet is operating kind of similar in a similar way as to how you visualize the body being the church, but we are recognizing that we aren't the body, we aren't replacing the church, we are just coming alongside the church. So in a similar way, when you're looking at a fleet, each vessel has its own unique purpose, and they all come together to build this bigger thing. So I think we just enjoyed the concept of that everybody coming together with their unique purposes to build this greater community that's serving a specific purpose.
I think the other aspect too of that is like if you think of a fleet of ships, that's a peaceful, just mind your own business type of thing. That's a focused direction. A lot of times for war. Now granted, we're not trying to say anything except that we want people to be activated. We want people to be missional and actually together focused on just on building the kingdom. So that's our slogan actually, is activating modern disciples. So there's that kind of energy, like organized energy behind that as well that we appreciated.
And I will say, since you brought up wanting to kind of get into our business, I feel like we also have an alternative story that we don't share a ton. If you are interested in finding, because I think we had the vision behind what the name would mean and what it would represent, but there are a lot of things out there that kind of have that like different parts coming together mentality. But yeah, in order to actually come, do you want to tell me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the store Fleet Feet?
No.
It's a franchise like shoe store. They're just kind of around. It's not huge, but there's a couple of them around. So Joy and I were sitting outside of a cafe trying to come up with a name for this because we already kind of had the idea. We're like, okay, what are we gonna call it? And we happened to be in like a little strip mall area that had a Fleet Feet, and we were like, oh, Fleet? That's pretty good. That's a strong word right there.
We also like clung to the word because we knew that we wanted to, in order to be able to bring people in who don't have any experience in what they're doing, we would need like certain leaders who are able to teach and guide
really
them.
Into it.
Well, she wanted to know everything.
Yeah, that's true.
So
the other thing, yeah, there's a lot of different places we could take the word fleet. So for instance, if we have a leader at a fleet night, fleeter.
It's right there.
Oh.
If you wanna, if we're having a little gathering, outside of our usual events, or we're just having a quick fleet up.
Yeah.
You know what, y'all? I like that. I like that you guys came up with that. There's one thing I did want to touch on when you were thinking of the fleet of ships and how war is, but essentially us as children of God, we experience warfare, believe it or not.
Right.
So
Yeah,
technically, we still got to go to war. So it makes sense. It makes sense when you put it like that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
Fleeter. Okay, I gotta use that. Okay.
Right.
So, how's your personal faith journey as a couple influenced the creation of this fleet movement?
That's interesting.
That's a really good question.
I will say, I think, and feel free to butt in.
Maybe I'll feel different.
I feel like Joy and I, especially like earlier on in our relationship, we kind of just had like very separate faith journeys. It wasn't kind of like a lot of interlap. We were also long distance for a time, so I think that added to it. So it just wasn't as prevalent in our relationship. But since being, not long distance and in Georgia and all that, we've kind of, it's just become way more central to our relationship. And just, I think it started off just like talking about the Bible and just like, I read this verse and I thought it was interesting, just spending hours talking about different stories or different ideas and just things from the Bible, and really just getting into it. So I feel like Fleet, I think it's been nice to have that, because while we just, we're running around putting out fires at the actual events, and there's a lot of administrative stuff we're working on, I think it is kind of just centering us as a couple on, even when we are just working on stuff together, or I don't know, arguing about something or disagreeing about something, I should say, it's still kingdom focused, and we do our best to make sure it's biblically backed. So I think it's been somewhat a byproduct of growing in our faith with the Lord together, and then also it's helped kind of keep us on that track and not let us get away from it too far.
I will also say, as you were talking about kind of faith being a part of our relationship pre-Fleet, one thing I will add to that, and just as like something to kind of be mindful of, as I'm sure various young adults are going to watch this podcast and have thoughts and all that, but I feel like college and like young adulthood was such a time for me to maybe fall away from the faith, and I think Henry really stood as like a really good kind of model of just being that active disciple that we're trying to find. And I feel like throughout college, it was one of those times where I potentially could have gone through this, that, or the other thing, but he kept me grounded, and he like was so strong in his faith that anytime I was maybe venturing away, and I don't even know if you knew that you were doing this, but he just served as that example of like, if Henry's doing this and I love him the way that I do, then I should be doing this. Like, we should be in this together.
Oh, that's, you know what? No, that's the first time. This is the first time I'm hearing that. Normally, I don't even know how to swing that, but that's amazing that, although you were trying to stray away, you had the man who essentially, if you're going biblical, the man is supposed to lead, and it's just amazing how he, took that step, whether he knew it, that he was doing it intentionally or not, that he took that step and kept you grounded and kept you, he was able to stand strong in his faith, and you were able to emulate that and wanted to continue to do that. So I really love that for you guys.
And I think we do it a lot in Fleet too, just in one of us might be more business focused in that exact second, so the other one's like, hey, let's pull this back to the kingdom. Like, we could do this, that, or the other thing and have a big headache about it because it's the smart, like, business decision to make. But ultimately, is that what God's calling us to do? Have we actually prayed about this?
Right.
Yes. I really love that for you guys. I'm hearing wedding bells soon. Okay, so we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about the actual Fleet night that took place in July. So,
awesome.
Stay tuned, you guys.
Hey guys, welcome. We're about to start, so grab a seat. Wait on three, you ready? 1, 2, 3, Fleet!
Don't do potential, I don't care what he might lack. You talking kingdom, I might listen for the right fact. Do what I want, cause that's my business. Right tab, hit what I want, throw it in the bag. Right fab, I'm a beast and I promise that I've been one. Don't do no hating, I'ma love you to the income. Speaking of income, my bank account working. That's what I get for praising God and getting hungry. I'll never stop, and there's nothing you could tell me. Living my dream, so it's nothing you could sell me. God got me, he the one who never felt me. Wishing on my downfall, you'll never win. Cause when I do it all again, he do it all again. Yeah, I know that I be sliding with the pen. It's God's gift.
You better get up. Never been down, baby, we up. The life that we walking, the way that we living, my baby, you might just how it goes. So you should feel like you sit up. You should be happy you picked us. He'll really lead a 99 just to come back and come get us. We got, I can't lose. I was really just running my move. Idolizing myself, I was focused on me and I'm supposed to be focused on you. Draping myself, I was up in the streets and I was acting just like a fool. Acting like I got something to prove. Running around like I got nothing to lose. That's why.
Welcome back, and we're joined by Joy and Henry today. We're talking about their journey and their vision of Fleet. And now I know you guys are ready to hear about the actual Fleet night that took place in July. So, tell us about the very first Fleet night in July and what was that experience like?
Well, it was hectic. It was very exciting leading up to it. You know, Joy and I think had the idea probably in April or maybe even March initially, and we had been talking about it for months and planning for months. So for me, at least, it was a very surreal experience, night of, and just seeing more and more people actually walking in the building. Just because, you know, it's something I'd talked about and been like, I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't know if we're going to be able to bring food, you know, all these different things. So for me, at least, it was just like very surreal. And I had to like stop throughout the evening and just like look around and be like, wow, it's happening. Like this is the event that we've been working on. This is what we've been putting so much time and effort into. And this is it. And, you know, like, as far as the actual, like, flow of the night, I think we had 15 different performances, and I think it was, like, 17 or 19 different performers. We had a few groups. So it was a pretty packed evening. We went a little late, but, yeah, it was pretty successful. We had quite a good turnout. It was a great time. You know, it was a little rough around the edges of things we're going to improve for next time, but all in all, I just think it was... just like very confirming, and also I don't know I can't think of the word. It's just you know, it feels pretty good when you put that much effort in and you just get such a positive result out of it. Even if, you know, some of the finer details were kind of, you know, messed up. It was just like the proof of concept was, you know, solid. You know. So
yeah, I'd say on my end, I, as like my profession, have at various times like run live events. So the actual, oh, it's happening right now, I feel like was less of like a, oh, okay, this is a big deal. And it was more so just watching the different ways that God showed up in it. Because in the live events that I've done, it's been so planned out. Because if you don't think of it and if you don't come up with a plan for it, then it's not going to happen. But like, I don't know if we've told you the story of how we ended up with all of the pizzas that, like, enough that we could give pizzas away, but that was, Henry can tell you that story.
That was only God. So we had 12 pizzas in total. Just 6 of them were donated by Papa John's, because I knew the GM of a location, and she was originally going to go, but she wasn't able to make it. But 6 of them were free, and then this was no coordination whatsoever. My brother lives in San Francisco, but he called me on the day of Fleet and was like, hey, how many pizzas do you have for Fleet night? And I was like, oh, only 6. And he was like, do you think you need more? And I was like, I mean, yeah, probably, but, you know, I mean, we didn't say there'd be pizza. Like, if it runs out, that's fine, but we'll see. And he was like, how many more do you need? And I was like, I mean, probably only like 3 more. And he was like, bill me for 6. Just send me a Venmo request. I'll get you 6 more. And so, yeah, and that's day of. I hadn't talked to him about it at all. I don't even think he knew we were bringing pizzas. He must have heard. I don't know how he heard. Might have been from my parents or something, because I was having them actually pick up the pizzas to bring down to Atlanta.
Yeah,
but we got 12 free pizzas day of. I assumed it wasn't going to work out, and I was like, well, good thing we didn't promise it, because this is not happening. Yeah. And we showed up, with enough food that, people were going home with full boxes of pizza. So that was,
So little things like that, where It was like, okay, we know this event is going to happen, but we don't know these details. We're leaving that up to God, like how many people are going to perform or things like that. And I feel like God definitely carried all of those aspects that we were like, okay, this is in your hands. And that was just like the most fulfilling and affirming part of the night for me. And I think I would second what Henry said about it being kind of hectic. Yeah. I feel like we were both running around so much. We actually were running around so much that we had to re-watch all of the performances after the fact. Because we were like, I know this person killed it, but I wasn't able to listen to every word because I was doing this, that, and the other thing. So when we would listen back to the like full recording of it, it was just such a powerful event. It was amazing.
Yes, it was. I think I shared this with Joy when we met up like a week later. And I was just like, I told her, because on my way to Fleet, so two things. On my way to Fleet, I don't know, like I just had this, I don't know what it's called. I don't want to say it's a vision. I don't know. But I was wide awake, okay? And on my way to Fleet, like I just envisioned like how much bigger like this is going to grow. Like I already seen like, so many people are outside in line, people pulling up at the cars, people walking on the red carpet, taking pictures. And I was just like, wait a minute, God, like, well, what is this? And so I'm just like, is this like what, like, is this what you're saying? Like, this is going to be? So, and then to walk in and to see the event as big, like with what it looked to be about 40 or 50 people there. I don't know.
I counted like around 60 or 65.
Wow.
And I think peak of most people in there may have been up to 75, but when I counted, it was right around 60.
Yeah, it was a lot of people, and for this to be your first event was very inspiring for me, myself, actually, because doing this podcast, like I was sitting on it for so long, and I did the proof of concept, and while I was there and I just looked around and seen how many people, it just inspired me to go ahead and just start the podcast. So I just want to thank you guys for being like a great inspiration just for Fleet. And keep going, because I'm going to be to every one of them. It's the Lord in the Lord's will.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I feel like this is kind of exactly what we wanted Fleet to become. I think we more so see Fleet apart from being like, well, aside from potentially being this is where people are going to show off these gifts, we see it as more of like a funnel of like, this is a stepping stone to get to whatever your purpose is. So hearing that you went to Fleet and then you were able to build something out of like just the motivation and inspiration that you got from the night is amazing.
Yes. And that night, I remember I went back, because I wound up staying at a Hyatt that was down the street. And literally, I walked into the hotel room and I just like burst into tears because like I was just so full and moved by everything in Fleet. And like I just begin to thank God for both of y'all for even just, taking the courage and the step to put that event together and, to see it grow to something bigger and amazing. So continue to do it.
Thank you. We're hoping to, we have most of the rest of this year planned out, and hopefully next year we're coming back a little bit bigger, a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, but we'll see. It's all just talks right now.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Hey. So with that being said, it leads me to the next question. I think you guys touched on it just a little bit about the biggest challenge you faced while preparing for Fleet Night and how did God carry you through it. And I know one of your challenges was trying to figure out, well, we didn't promote pizza, but
yeah.
I think more so than maybe like physical stuff that happened at the event for me, a lot of the biggest trial that I had approaching the event was like more of an internal struggle of like, I don't work in ministry. I don't necessarily think that I should be like the example Christian in the life that I live right now. I think I have so much to learn still. So it was kind of more so stepping out into ministry without having gone to like seminary or doing this, that, or the other thing. That was like a big struggle for me of, is this something that I should be doing? Is this really what God would want me to do? Is this really going to be well received by people? And I think it was just a lot of like prayer and listening to God and sitting with him that kind of helped me get through that, and seeing that like we are all called to be on mission. We're all called to, if he has given you this vision or given you this thought on here's what you should be doing, you shouldn't be saying, yeah, I'll do that, but it's going to be after this, that, and the other thing, and I'm just going to wait and sit here for a second. If he's saying you need to do this, then you should get up and do it.
Right.
I will say...
I was going to say, delayed obedience is disobedience. So,
right.
Yes.
Yeah, I will say, I think, for me, I think there is some of that similar struggle of just, I don't feel qualified to tell anyone anything. I can quote the Bible, but like that's all I can do, right? So I think there was a bit of a similar struggle. I will say one thing we are trying to be intentional about with Fleet is not platforming ourselves or our own views. Like that's part of the open mic format is just, if you want to get up and say something, we'll let you, as long as it's not like wildly off base. But we don't necessarily agree with what people say up there, and that's fine. So I think some of it, for me at least, in addition to just prayer and trying to actually understand that even if I'm not qualified, that doesn't mean I should not do it. It means that I should just be obedient and see what God does. But I think another aspect of it for me is just being like intentional about, is this me asserting myself, or is this me allowing God to work just in whatever happens? I think another challenge we had, honestly, is just, I think both Joy and I are very kind of business minded and administrative minded. So there's definitely a lot of hang-ups in the planning process of just like, are we biting off more than we can chew because we're trying to get this whole business plan written and get, all this branding stuff figured out. Is this even worth it? Do we have time for this? And then going back and forth on that and getting to the point of, we just need to do this. Should we be doing this? Are we qualified? So I think there's a lot of that kind of, I don't know, just getting caught up in the details as opposed to just doing it, as well as, should we even be doing this? Is this our place?
Yeah.
So I think most of it was really mental. The actual night of, getting stuff there, the equipment, trying to pack cars and not forget things, it's always a challenge, but it's fine.
Time was also a big night of challenge. This was our first time ever setting up all of the equipment, being in the space that we were going. Well, I guess we go to church at the place that we were at, Blueprint, but we had never set up an event there before, or used our own equipment to set up that event. So we were kind of guesstimating how long different things would take, and also what time different people would be there to help us out and stuff. So I feel like it started out with just me and Henry in there for however long, then the volunteers started to trickle in, and they, as they do, just immediately took to it and started helping us do whatever we possibly needed, which was a huge hand. But we still were very close to the wire, if not over time, by the time that we were actually starting the event, because we probably could have been a little more intentional about the planning of here's what's going to happen.
There were only 2 outlets in that entire room. So we were running cable. We were oh, okay, we can't put this here because we only have 2 extension cords. So we have to run this from here now. It's awkward. So there's just little things like that. It was a little stressful getting ready and trying to get everything set up.
I think part of that's going to stick though, because we are popping up in different churches and different spaces. So each time it will be okay, now what do we have to adjust? What do we have to adapt to? And I think it keeps it kind of interesting, kind of exciting, makes it accessible to a different group of people each time, which I really like.
Well, I will want to say this, because I know a lot of times when we're getting ready to start things and God is leading us to start something that's going to glorify Him, a lot of the times we don't feel qualified. But His word says that He doesn't, He doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the call. So if He called you to do something, He's going to make sure that you're qualified to do it. He's going to instill you with the necessary tools and resources and the strategies that you need to carry out the vision that He has for you to carry out. So, and that's for anybody that's watching, is that the Lord has directed you to start something. Just go ahead and start it. Don't worry about if you're qualified or not. He's going to qualify you throughout the process. So,
right.
Yeah.
So how will the upcoming Fleet Night on September 30th be different than the first one?
Well, we got a few exciting changes.
Yeah.
Mostly on our end. I think the actual experience as just attending will be pretty similar. One thing you may have noticed, it was not very well structured or timed out. So, we're supposed to have a certain number of performance slots that are only however long. but it was kind of all over the place because we did not have any sort of timer or person just keeping time. We also, our sign-up sheet got lost halfway through, and we were just kind of like, raise your hand if you want to perform, right? So there's a few things like that we've started to optimize. We're doing digital sign-ups. We have actual time slots. We're going to have someone keeping time and letting you know, hey, 1 minute left. All right, time's up. We got to move on. You know, some of this.
Can I have the timekeeper job?
Yeah.
Honestly,
if you want
yeah,
it,
probably, yeah.
I'm gonna get cue cards. 1 minute.
I love it. I love it.
That's great. Yeah. Right. So that's the thing. Yeah. It was just a few things like optimization things. We also, on the back end, we're doing a lot better this time just with volunteer communication. So one issue we ran into the first time around is just a lot of the volunteers were just friends of ours who agreed to help out. So we would just send a text whenever we remembered to and be like, hey, by the way, show up at this time. Here's the address. Or we would forget to say what time to show up. So, you know, like, oh, you showed up at 7 because that's when it says the event starts and we didn't say anything. We're like, okay, actually, yeah, we should probably organize that better. So this time around, we're doing a much better job just with getting volunteers actually equipped and prepared for the flow of the event and how it's going to work to get, you know, good information and know what they're going to be doing when they're there and the timekeeping. So some of those optimization things, but the actual attendee experience is probably going to be pretty similar.
I would say maybe, hopefully a little bit better, just in that we are also trying to do things to kind of beautify the space beyond what we did at the last event. So last time we didn't really have any beautification elements. We just showed up and the way it looked is what we use. But this time we're trying to get like a backdrop for the stage and also like different tablecloths and different like a photo board and things like that to kind of help make it feel like, although it still has that intimate and like homey feeling, it also does seem like, okay, I'm actually at an event. I went somewhere and I'm seeing people perform Glorify God.
Right.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And the last question for this segment, what was your favorite moment or testimony that came out of that night?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That is a very good question.
Honestly, I feel like for me, the thing that immediately comes to mind is just how we were able to actually build this Christian community. Like, we only had one event, but even from that, and I'm going to use you as an example, actually. You and Jai started talking after the fact, and then you were able to do so many cool things from, like, just meeting at Fleet Night. Like, you had her on the podcast. You told her about that other performance that she was doing, and I got to see that other performance, and that was amazing in itself, too. So I think it was just little things like that of, like, you know, God has called us to be this family, to be this community, and to all like stick together in that way. And I think Atlanta, it's very easy to feel separated, especially from other Christians. So it was just like, I think one of the highlights of the event for me was just the fact that we had one event and we already saw the fruit of what happened.
Yeah. I think, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think, you know, like, seeing the community built was just very powerful, and seeing, like, even after the event until probably, like, nearly midnight, I think, you know, people still just hanging out in the parking lot talking to people they'd never met before. So some of that was very, very powerful. I think for me, one thing that especially stood out are just kind of some of the things that, you know, are really only God that happened leading up, like the pizzas, for instance. Another one, they kind of told it the story, but the Holy Mileage, the two ladies who did the podcast, the one, her name is Lady. She, before she was saved, met Gio, who was our host, because they worked together 5 years ago. So she wasn't saved at that point. All she really remembers about Gio is that he witnessed to her and was just very kind and gentle, because at the time she was, you know, into like the new age stuff with the crystals and tarot cards and stuff like that. And he was very kindly witnessing to her and just kind of explaining why that stuff is not of God and ultimately dangerous. They hadn't talked in 5 years, and all of a sudden when I called them to say to Holy Mileage, like, hey, do you guys want to perform at this open mic we're doing? They were like, oh my goodness, Gio's on your Instagram page. And I was like, how do you know Gio? And yeah, I mean, it was just one of those, small world. They happen to know him, and then 5 years later, there they are on stage preaching, spreading the word of God right next to Gio. So it was just things like that, just very like full circle moments that to me it was just like, we're able to make a space to facilitate that kind of like a experience and just moment.
I'm happy to see the Christian community that Fleet Night, just the first Fleet Night, has already built, and how people are connecting and just giving other people opportunities to use their gifts. So with that being said, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and get into the impact and community of Fleet.
Hey family, I hope you guys are enjoying the first episode so far. Thank you for your support. I'm excited to share that All Things God crowdfunding campaign has launched, and I need your help to grow this ministry. I have a goal of $15,000 that I need to reach by October 1st. By supporting, you're not just giving, you're planting a seed into a ministry that will inspire, uplift, and change lives. We have special perks just for you, starting only at $5. Join me, sow into the vision, and let's build this together. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description box below to donate to the campaign. Thank you so much for your support.
Welcome back, you guys, to the All Things God podcast. I am here with Joy and Henry. So far, we've just been discussing their journey, their vision of Fleet, and how it has impacted everybody. And that's actually our next segment anyway, impact and community. So, how can someone who has never attended get involved or be a part of Fleet?
Well, I mean, start off easy. You can attend. We'd love to have you. There's opportunity really for everything. As we were kind of saying, one of our goals is, even if you don't know if you're interested in something or don't have any experience in it, we're open to let you try. And between the two of us, at least provide some sort of training for it. So if you're just now hearing about Fleet, and I mean, if you want to just come and see it, that's great. We'd love to have you. If you want to be involved, any sort of like the creative side, we can get you involved. If you want to perform, it's open sign up. Now, granted, we do have a lot of people who are saying they want to perform, so slots are going to go quick. But there's just a lot of opportunity, and we're pretty much open to anything. We're just trying to,
I'd say other than that, also, if you have never heard of Fleet, you are interested in getting involved, but Tuesday nights are packed for you usually, we have two other ways that you can get involved. Way number one is through our social media and online presence.
That's true.
We try to make our Instagram and all of our social media kind of an open mic concept also. So we ask different people within the community to submit like 1-minute videos, whether it's like them reflecting on a verse, or it could be them singing a song, or sharing a testimony, anything like that. It's just a way for our community to feel more like involved in each other's lives and spiritual growth, and to also just, make sure that everybody has a chance to share. And then the other side of that would be, outside of Fleet Nights, we do these other events. Most of them are kind of just like fun community building types of things, but also a lot of them touch like the outside of Fleet community. So I don't know if I should talk about our next one because it hasn't even been announced yet.
Oh, I guess this is. Did we get the date confirmed?
Yep.
We did for that.
We're working on the time, but I think that the date is confirmed.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is pre-release announcement. October 25th, we're doing a Christian spelling bee. So it's going to be a team spelling bee. She's just putting it in her calendar right now.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're doing, like team spelling bee, either come with a team or, just we'll figure it out at the event. But it's just going to be a fun time, just fellowshipping, seeing if you can spell Melchizedek or
Nehemiah, or
right, you see.
I feel like we were doing Ezekiel the other day, which seems like it should be easy, but I think we both messed it up. It's just going to be a fun, like, friendly competition.
How many eyes are in Isaiah?
Definitely 2. I
think
two.
3. Is it
3?
2?
It's 2.
Or is it two A's as well?
No,
why would there be 2 A's?
I feel like it's weird. I feel like it's spelled anyway. So anyway,
This is how
I'm gonna
it's
lose. But anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. We most recently we did a street evangelism event. We partnered up with a ministry that we know from our church. It's called Street Talk ATL. So we went to the Summer Shade Festival in Grant Park, and we just kind of witnessed to the people going there, talked to some of the vendors, and then just hung out with the community just outside of that. It was a smaller group, and we just went and met up in the park and evangelized a bit.
Okay. Well, I'm going to definitely put that spelling bee in my calendar.
Nice.
I just read the first 9 chapters of Chronicles, First Chronicles. And the first 9 chapters of First Chronicles is just listing everybody there is that can be in the Bible. All 9 chapters.
Yeah.
And all those names look crazy.
Right.
If you ain't asking me how to spell Adam, Eve, Jacob, I already lost.
We're going to be struggling just saying them. Like, you guys are going to be like, can you repeat that? What was that word?
Right. But I'm looking forward to that. Also, for those of you that want to get involved with Fleet, at the bottom of your screen, there's a QR code. Actually, if you saw the first commercial, it was their actual commercial for Fleet. You could have scanned the QR code then, but this is your opportunity to scan the QR code, and it'll send you directly to their link where they have like the Fleet Night sign up and the first Fleet Night and all that good stuff for you to check out. So go ahead, scan it, fill out the volunteer form, fill out the performance form, and they'll get back to you. And we'll see you at Fleet.
Yeah, we will.
With that being said, how do you envision Fleet bringing people together across different walks of life? And you actually answered that question a little bit earlier, I believe.
Yeah. So one way, or one thing we're trying to be intentional about really is just reaching people where they're at. So making the event very accessible to different levels of faith, different ages, different backgrounds, ethnicities, all that. So just trying to keep it, I'll say kind of level the playing field a bit. Part of that just comes from being an open mic. There really is something for everyone. So, I mean,
yeah, I think that's a great answer. We are trying to just make all of our events as fun and inclusive as possible. So I know that there's a lot of maybe like fear, hesitation around like, oh, this is a Christian event, but I'm not feeling, 100 in my faith right now. I'm not feeling like I'm the one that needs to be up there on a mic or something like that. But still, you can show up and you can just like be loved by the community, or just make a friend and go hang out with them, or there's just so much that the events offer beyond just being able to go up there and perform. So I'd say regardless of where you're at in your walk with the Lord, it's worth just going out there just to be a part of a Christian community and see what it feels like.
Yeah, and I'll say this, being a part of a Christian community is very important because you need those people. You need people to love on you when you're down. You need to be that loving person when that person is down. You need people to pray for you, pray with you, all that good stuff. So being a part of a Christian community is important because, number one, this walk with God is very hard. It's rewarding, but it's hard, might I add. So you need your community to keep you uplifted, to keep you encouraged, to, hold you accountable for things. I know my Christian community holds me accountable for everything. And sometimes I be wanting to.
Right.
But it's worth it. It's worth it. And with that being said, we're going to take one more commercial break and then we're going to wrap it all up because I know we have some couples out there that's watching this and they have some questions about how to manage ministry and their relationship. So when we come back, we're going to touch on that.
Are you called to lead a dance ministry but not sure where to start? The book How to Lead a Spirit-Led Dance Ministry, written by myself and my godmother, Vanessa Forrest, is your step-by-step guide to building a ministry that honors God, inspires others, and flows in the Spirit. Inside, you'll find practical tools, biblical foundations, and encouragement to help you lead with confidence. Whether you're just starting out or ready to take your ministry to the next level, this book is for you. Grab your copy today on Amazon and step into your calling with boldness and grace.
Welcome back to All Things God podcast. I'm Tisha and I'm here with Joy and Harry, and we've just been having a great conversation about Fleet and how God has led them to start this community. So now for you couples that's out there that's trying to figure out, do me and my significant other align with these visions that God has gave us, and how do we come about putting them together? This is your chance to really tune in, okay? So, with that being said, what has it been like building a ministry together as a couple?
I would say it's been both hard and like the easiest thing that I have done. Just because like I was saying before, I feel like we both have our own strengths and we both have our own, like, you know, beliefs and things that we are like, this is the most important thing in the world. And the other person's might not be the exact same. The other person might value something else over that. So it's been a lot of like trying to work together and understand where each other are coming from, which is maybe one of the hardest things that you can do. But it's also been amazing to have somebody like holding me accountable for what we are doing. So like if we say we're going to do this on this day, he's going to check in and say, hey, did you do that? And that's kind of, I feel like how we've continued to progress, and it hasn't been like just a stagnant thing of like, oh yeah, that first Fleet night was amazing. Boom, we nailed it. It's been like, okay, now how can we keep moving? Because we are both like continuing to push each other and continuing to work out the vision together. It's also just great to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, I feel like. And I think a lot of our conversations are kind of those more a high level of like, where is this going? Where do we want this to go? What do we want this organization's identity to be? And we don't want it to be a reflection of just one of us or even just us. And a lot of times just having that person, especially it being somebody that knows you and knows about the rest of your life, makes it very easy and very helpful.
Yeah, I think I think there's pluses and minuses in general. I mean, as your classic business advice is, it's hard to go into business with people you love, because there are just going to be conflicts that can feel personal even if they're not, right? So yeah, I think it's been very good just to have, I guess, like a certain level of honesty and trust associated with it. We already have that like honest and trust-filled relationship established. So now that it's being put towards a ministry, even when we do disagree on details, we understand each other and we know at the end of the day, you know, we might not agree on this, but we have similar foundations and a similar goal, so we're gonna work something out. Yeah. I think another important thing is that we are both, it took a while to get here, we really had to hone it in, but we're both very aligned on the mission of Fleet and what we're trying to do with it and our goals and our aims. So even if it comes down to like the interpretation of that mission, of what the best way to fulfill it is, you know, we have a common ground we're standing on and we're both working towards it. So it really just comes down to, you know, compromising on what achieves that the best way, and not a conversation of are we actually in alignment on what we're trying to do in general.
Yeah. I would also say some context is that we have been dating for 6 years. I feel like if this was our first year dating,
we'd probably be broken up.
Yeah, we wouldn't have made it. Fleet wouldn't have made it. We wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
But we have taken the time to like know each other, understand how each other communicate, understand different struggles that each other have, both in like business, ministry, our walk with the Lord, and just outside of that and in like personal lives and all of that. So I feel like it has been very, very easy for any time that we get caught up in that like I think we also both, I don't know that we actually are maybe argumentative people, but I feel like we do get into those like business type of high level debates kind of often. And I think it's mostly just to like push each other's like concepts of like what could happen and just see like, okay, let's think big. What could this be?
Right.
But I feel like the fact that we know, like I would say Henry is 100% like a really good visionary. Yay. And it's been so helpful in seeing like where do we want Fleet to go. And now I know that about him not because of stuff that happened with Fleet, but because of stuff that happened way before it. So anytime that we are to that conversation of like, okay, so where are we trying to take this? How can we put this into words? I know that I can lean on him to like, okay, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Right.
I think another like a quick important note too, especially going into ministry, is just that, you know, outside of Fleet and all that, Joy and I also do just have very similar foundations in Christianity as well. So we understand a lot of the same things. We've worked through and been through a lot of similar things. So our beliefs are already just very aligned doctrinally. So I think, and that's regardless of whether you're going in ministry or not, just being equally yoked in your relationship with the Lord and all of that, I think is very important. And we definitely do have that. So I think that's been pretty important.
Yeah. And you know what? This actually ties into the next question. How do you balance your personal relationship, individual callings, and working together in this vision?
I think
balance.
No. I feel like one thing I'll say, as far as like our individual giftings, there's so many things that he does that I know I can't do, and I have zero interest in learning. I would never want to do it. So honestly, I feel like sometimes, for better or worse, I feel like we both fall into like this habit of kind of making each other like our assistant to some extent. Like when he's working on something that I have no desire to learn, or I'm working on something that he has no desire to do, we'll make the other person like, okay, well, if you're not gonna like do this with me, how about you like help me out with this? And it's usually something like a pretty small, trivial type of task, but it's just one of those, like, we know that we can lean on each other's individual giftings because I think we are overlap in some ways as far as what we want to do, but I feel like ultimately I think we are pretty different people to some extent. True. So I feel like just having somebody that like, you know, isn't a carbon copy of me to kind of step in those times where I'm like, I have no desire to edit a 2-hour video of Fleet Night. That actually seems like the worst thing in the world to me. And even like the audio, and I like went to, like, I have an audio engineering like background to some extent, and I had no desire to do that. But I know that I could trust him to do it, and he did it, even though it was such a stressful process. And I could like, we would talk about it as he was going through day to day of like, okay, here's what I did today, here's what I'm working on tomorrow, here's what I need to get done. And my entire thought the whole time was, I could never do that, I would never do that, but thank you so much for doing it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think actually this was told to me very recently, just yesterday. This idea of balance just doesn't really work out. So it's really more of the idea of harmonize, right? Of just especially with ministry, like, you can't have ministry time and then go back to regular life. And the same thing, you can't have, okay, I'm going to be Christian on Sunday and then I can go back to being regular or whatever the rest of the week. So I feel like it has been challenging just to incorporate it well, balancing just having like a relationship and like, oh, we're going to go on a date and, oh, we just had a 3-hour business meeting instead, you know? Or like, oh, we just pulled out our laptops at this restaurant and now we're working on stuff. So there's definitely, you know, little things like stuff like that that's been challenging of, you know, setting good boundaries to be like, okay, you know, we can talk about it, but let's not make it the only thing about our relationship and try to find other ways to spend time together and all that. And then with, you know, our personal lives, we both work, we both have a lot of stuff we're doing outside of Fleet. So just finding ways to make Fleet not just become a chore or just like home from work and now I have to sit down and do 3 hours of busy work to get Fleet moving. oh, this is exhausting, this is terrible. So just finding ways to just incorporate it into our lives as opposed to treating it like a second job, or
Yes, and that editing comment, I agree with you on that, Jen.
Nope.
Because
I have no desire.
I'm an editor, right? And some people, they come to me, Tisha, can you edit? Listen, no, I don't know. Like, I'll edit my stuff like this podcast because, of course, it's chop, clip, that's it. Like, it's
Right.
it's basic editing. Like, I can be done with editing this within the hour or two. Not even 2 hours, maybe an hour. But like a film, listen, I know how to edit. I'm a certified editor. Okay? But I have no desire to chop up a feature-length movie. I have no desire. Don't want it. I will hire somebody quick, fast, in a hurry and pay them what they're worth to do that for me. So
I feel like I have the added benefit. I don't have to pay.
It doesn't have to pay. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
He'll just do it. What? It's great. It's fantastic.
It's great for her. I do video professionally, I think I mentioned, and so I think it's nice to have a video project to work on, but in another sense, I'm like, my clients pay for this stuff. But yeah, Fleet definitely was, we had like 5 audio tracks, 3 hours of footage, and really the real struggle, and I'm not going to go too technical, the audio recording and the footage were out of sync consistently, so I had to adjust every like 5 to 20 minutes depending in order to get them back in sync, just because of dropped frames or something. So it was just, I couldn't just line it up and then say, all right, cool, we're good. I had to go through every single section and resync audio throughout the entire thing across the 5 tracks. So it was a headache, but
I will say, the fact that we have the business side of it together and are also dating, I knew during the week that he was doing that, like, oh, we're probably not gonna, be going on this or that other date. And I feel like a lot of times when your partner is really busy with work, it's very easy to feel like, oh, they're neglecting our relationship, oh, they're not focusing on me. But I think we are both so passionate about Fleet that I was like, awesome, let's do this. Let's get this video out. You got this. Yeah. Keep going.
That was our date, was me working on Fleet.
Yep.
Listen, the way you just gave me a headache by the unsynced. Right? Oh my God, that's like the worst. That's if for those of you who don't know the fundamentals of editing, when you have unsynced audio and video footage and you have to sit there and you have to like literally go frame by frame by frame, at that point you just want to burn your computer.
Yep.
You just want to say, forget this, it doesn't matter, and just walk away. Like, that's how stressful it is. I think it's more stressful than, I don't even know. It's stressful.
It's bad. Yeah.
It's bad. And another thing that I want to say, when you question balance, the moment you said balance, when I said balance, you said balance. That's literally been me the last couple months. And then especially with this podcast now, because I get off work at 5 a.m. and I set everybody to like 4 o'clock. And at 3:30 alarm go off. I'm like, man, I could just reschedule. But, and then finally, what advice would you give to other couples who feel called to start something for God but is afraid?
I would say fast together.
Yeah.
I think leading up to Fleet, we fasted together, and I think on 2 different occasions leading up to it, or maybe those were something, I don't remember. Anyway, I know leading up to the event we fasted, and up until the event for a couple of days. I think the biggest thing is that it's easy to focus on communication with each other, but I think there's a lot of value in individual communication with God, and then seeing if it lines up. Because there's been a few decisions that we like, well, okay, let's both independently pray about this and talk to God about, and then just come together after however much time, and we end up in alignment on those things just through our individual time with God. So I think it's to not forget about God in the relationship, just because I think when you have another person to talk to, it's easy to first, like if I have an idea, first turn to Joy to say, what do you think of this? As opposed to first bring it to God. So I think, yeah, keeping God as the center decision maker is very, very important.
I'm gonna agree on that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that is probably the most important thing to do. I think as long as you guys are both working on that personal relationship and then also bringing God into your relationship, then what you do is going to end up being successful if it's in His will.
I mean, to whatever degree God wants it to be, it's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah. Great answer.
Thanks.
And finally, where do you see Fleet in the next few years?
Ooh.
Where don't I see Fleet in the next few years?
I feel like I kind of have two answers to this one. First one being, sometimes I'll think about like 2026 Fleet and I'm like, I can't imagine this. Like, I can't imagine working on this as much as we are in 2020. Like, this is our life for the foreseeable future.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine
It's
it.
a lot of work.
And then other times, it's like, look how fast Fleet is growing. Look how passionate we are about it.
Yeah.
Where is this going? And it's nothing but like, oh, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this. And it's like a ton of just back and forward ideas of like, oh, that's really cool. We could totally do this. So I feel like I kind of jump back and forth to different ends of the spectrum of like, Fleets? Is that really going to be a thing in 2026? And also, and also like, Fleet's going to be a big thing in the coming years, I think.
Yeah. I think just to share, and this is, I'll say, official company vision. So personally, we're similar, and just I'm like, I'm still gonna be working on this next year. Like I'm still gonna be every day like, oh, I gotta edit for Fleet next year. That seems crazy. But just company vision wise, like one thing we're trying to do with Fleet is we're trying to keep it small and homey and intimate, even when it does grow. So what we'll end up doing is starting to like kind of franchise out and have different like Fleet night in different areas. Right now we're operating, of course, in the downtown-ish area. But you know, if we start to see, okay, we have 100 people showing up consistently to these events are starting to get large. And then we might say, well, a lot of these people are coming from North Atlanta, so let's just start a North Atlanta chapter, and that'll be separate, and that'll just be a smaller gathering and continue to have the very like open and accessible feeling. I've met people in different parts of the country that have similar callings. So I met a guy in Pennsylvania who does open mic nights, Christian open mic nights currently. It's not as formalized, and sometimes he'll just go to already established open mic nights and just do a Christian performance. But, you know, people like that with a similar mission, we might say, hey, we want to, you know, kind of give you some of the like strategy and some of the branding we've done and start like Fleet night in Pennsylvania. So it's not, you know, we aren't really looking to make Fleet, especially Fleet nights, some huge event that's all flashy with a ton of stuff. We're trying to make sure the company stays accessible. You know, maybe as a central organization with different locations, we might do like a Fleet conference type of a thing that'd be bigger. That's very far down the line. But, you know, like I think one thing we're really trying to make sure is that we're not taking away from the accessibility and the openness of the environment by growing it too much on any given event.
And I feel like another business thing that we are working on is, hopefully in 2026, we'll see what happens, but we are working on becoming a nonprofit. So we do want this to be beyond just a business that we are both putting our minds into. We want to get like an official board. We want to be able to kind of operate in that charity space so that we can both have a bigger impact on what we're doing and guide our events a little bit better.
Right.
Okay. I like that. And I'm looking forward to the success of Fleet as well. That's it, everyone. This is Joy. This is Henry with Fleet. Are there any last words that you guys want to share?
Come
Fleet night, September 30th. We hope to see you there.
Yeah.
It's going to be at Outlet Community Church. I don't remember the address off the top of my head, but that's in Decatur. Outlet Community Church, Decatur, September 30th, 7 p.m. Show up. Fleet Night in November 18th. We have another Fleet Night. That's going to be at Send Relief Facility in Clarkston, Georgia.
Yeah.
We have our Spelling Bee November 20th.
Nope.
No,
October
25th. October 25th Spelling Bee. I think that's also going to be at the Send Relief Facility, probably in a different building. That's in Clarkston. And we want to see everyone who's watching this and more at that event, all of them.
Yeah.
So, and go to fleetministry.com if you want to check it out. Fleet.ministry on all socials.
Yeah.
Check us out.
If you're interested in volunteering, please reach out to us. We're always looking for volunteers. There's so many ways to be activated.
Yeah.
You can DM us, you can email us, you can go to our website, fill out the contact page. We make ourselves very accessible too, because we want it to be super easy to volunteer.
If you're an editor and you're watching this,
The 3 hours of footage isn't that bad, I promise.
I promise the audio, it really wasn't that bad. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of stuff, a lot of areas we're looking to grow in. So yeah, if anyone watching is interested at all, just reach out. Even if you don't know, if you're able to, just reach out. We'd love to meet you and talk to you.
And the good thing about that, if you guys didn't catch anything that they said, look in the description box below. All the information is there. So there's no excuse at all. Before we go, I'm going to close us all out in prayer, and then I'm going to offer salvation to anybody that's watching that wants to give their life to Christ. So, dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this moment. I thank you for this conversation on this podcast. Thank you for Joy. Thank you for Henry. Thank you for blessing them with the vision of Fleet, God. Lord, I ask that everybody that is going to watch this episode, God, that they are fed, that they receive a word from you, God, that they're able to take back something and apply it to their lives the way that you see fit, God. And anybody that's watching this that, is looking to offer their life to Christ, Lord, I ask that they're moved with a humble heart and that they give their life to you. And God, when it comes to Fleet Night, God, I pray that everyone that watches this signs up and registers and be at Fleet Night. Fleet Night will be a success on September 30th of this month. And I just thank you, God. Thank you for the vision. Thank you for the people that's going to be there. And thank you for all the people that's going to perform and minister, God, the people that's going to show up to watch. Lord, I just thank you for the whole concept of Fleet. Lord, I thank you and I honor you, and we submit this prayer in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
And with that being said, so those of you who have not given your life to Christ and you've been trying to find a way to give your life to Christ, here is the opportunity. All you have to do is just say these words behind me. Please mean these words with your whole heart, because God knows your heart and God knows if you are serious or not. So take this seriously. And I want to see you on the other side of heaven when Jesus returned too. So this is your chance. So you'll say, "Oh Lord God, I believe with all my heart in Jesus Christ, Son of the living God. I believe he died for me and God raised him from the dead. I believe he's alive today. I confess with my mouth that Jesus Christ is the Lord of my life from this day. Through him and in his name, I have eternal life. I am born again. Thank you, Lord, for saving my soul. I'm now a child of God." So if you said that, welcome to the family. You are now a child of God. Congratulations. And if you need help with your walk, if you need prayer, feel free to reach out. And again, thank you, Joy and Henry, for taking the time out to allow me to be all in y'all business and Rub to be all in y'all business today. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. This was a blast.
So with that being said, we'll see you guys next week on the All Things God podcast. And I have another special guest for you guys, and you guys don't want to miss it. But bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.